Welcome back to the show. I am just catching up with Chris from the Lake Dillon Theater Company. How's it going?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And so just to start off, tell us a little bit about just the theater in general and kind of what you guys do over there.
Yeah, well, with the Lake Dillon Theater Company, and we are Colorado's most intimate professional theater. At any given time, an audience member is really no further than 12 feet away from the action on stage. So you don't get any more close proximity than at our
Absolutely.
space.
Which just makes the experience just more captivating. It really gets you involved in
It makes it entirely different, for sure. Because, when you go to the Buell or actually any show at the Denver Center or any theater in Denver, you're typically 20 feet away from the audience,
absolutely.
and there's kind of a disconnect. But in our space, you really kind of feel like you're peering through the windows of the people on stage, and so you kind of feel like sometimes you're kind of intruding.
Which is kind of nice. It's that different feeling from being an audience member to maybe being a little bit more a part of the show and what you guys are doing there, what you're creating.
And intimacy is one of our core values, and our audiences have come to expect the intimacy. So, and we've been around for 21 years. We're starting our 21st season this year, and we're kicking our first show off in March. So,
and tell us about what are we going to see this year?
Man, it's a great show. It's called Freud's Last Session by a playwright named Mark St. Germain, and it's a historical fiction, essentially. It's a conversation between Sigmund Freud and C.S. Lewis. Two people on the opposite scope of everything.
Ends of the spectrum, completely.
And so we don't know if if this meeting ever happened, but it takes place just a short time before Freud kills himself, because he was suffering from mouth and throat cancer at the time. And in one of his date books, on a certain date, he had scribbled CS. And so the hypothesis is that he actually had a meeting with C.S. Lewis to discuss all things religion and psychology, and so it's a really fascinating
And you said
show.
It's a historical fiction, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the meeting may have happened, but the play itself is all fiction.
Yeah, it's taken from that.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so what's coming? That's happening in March, right?
That happens in March, and it runs the entire month of March, and it stars our executive director, Joshua Blanchard, and then one of our favorite performers, Bob Moore.
Great.
In the role of Sigmund Freud.
Awesome. And it's just a fantastic event to go see a show there. And where can people maybe get tickets for this?
They can give us a call at the box office, or the best bet is to go to lakedillontheater.org, and they can pick out their seats.
Great.
And get the email instantaneously.
All the info there. And then, so that's coming up in March, but do we have some things going on before then as well?
We do, actually. Our biggest fundraiser of the year is on February 13th, and it's called Broadway at the Summit. It's called that because we typically would be bringing in Broadway performers to do a rather large cabaret for our patrons. But last year and this year, we kind of shook it up a little bit. Last year, we did the Women of the Lake Dillon Theater.
Great.
And so we brought in six of our favorite female performers over the past 21 years. And this year we're doing the Men of the Lake Dillon Theater Company.
Oh, great.
And so they'll come in a week before, and we'll rehearse this show, and they're all very successful performers, and they're audience favorites. So
awesome. I've been to one of these galas before, and it's great to see some of this amazing talent. Just a nice showcase of what you guys can put together and what they can do on their own as well.
Yeah, it's great, and they're just wonderful people, and they love coming back to Summit County, and they love working for the Lake Dillon Theater. So it's a little mini reunion every time they.
Awesome, and that's coming up in February.
February 13th.
Great.
The theme for this year is a kind of a Mardi Gras theme, a night on Bourbon Street. So the patrons will come in. We'll have the silent auction, and we'll have some hurricanes, and there'll be a jazz band playing. A New Orleans jazz band playing, and then the meal or the dinner is fully catered, and then there's the performance, and then we've got some other fun activities as well.
Great, and so that's going to be a great night at the Lake Dillon Theater Company. And then can you find out more, maybe a schedule of the rest of the shows going on?
It is all online. If you go to our website, it's one of the first graphics that pops up, so you can kind of see our really kind of fascinating and really exciting season that we're doing this year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. Right now, though, we're going to give something away, which is my favorite part of the show. If you want to help me do it, we're going to give away $25 to Space Cowboy. So all you have to do is we're going to put a question up on the screen. There it is. You have to be the first person with the correct answer to call at 970-262-6388, extension 16. The question is, how many skiable acres does Copper Mountain have? And it's a pretty tricky question. I don't think I know the answer. Is it A or B? We got a 50% chance. We're going to knock out C or D for you. Is it 2,465 acres or is it 2,100 acres? So keep those calls coming. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with more on Summit Sunrise.